Alright, tool groupies, today on the Backwoods Mechanic channel, we're going to be checking out this brand new product that I picked up by S.U.R&R. S-U-R&R, but it's model number TC60. This thing is supposed to tighten once and then spring-loaded cutter does all the rest. So we're going to be trying that out here shortly. Nice clean cut every time you use it. It does look good, looks interesting. I picked it up at my local CarQuest, didn't cost me entirely too much. Automatic ratcheting tubing cutter, innovative design, great for brake, fuel, AC, tranny, and more. Easily cuts 3/16 to 5/8 size tubing, spring-loaded automatic cutter, ratcheting action handle, removable cutting head, and you can replace the blades. They are available. You can easily order those. It shows you right here a little bit of a demonstration for the spring-loaded automatic cutter. Snug down onto your tubing and then turn the knob 360 degrees. Ratcheting action handle, perfect for hard to reach places. And then we have got the option to remove that cutting head for great tight spaces that you might run into. That is definitely something I'm going to be running into here in a second. Of course, you can go to SIR-AUTO.com. This is made in Taiwan. You can also call 1-800-390-3996 for further information on this. Now we're going to be breaking this out of the box, checking it out, looking at it, and then I'm going to do a demonstration piece. So here is our automatic ratcheting tubing cutter. I do like the way this is made. It does look really nice. It's got a really nice handle on it. Feels pretty good in your hand. Pretty well put together. It's got little grooves and stuff like that in it for a grip. Feels like hard plastic maybe. And of course everything up here is put together to where you can disassemble it. It's got 3 Phillips screws right there so you can pull it out, take it apart. The blades are interchangeable, so that's how you would do that if you need to. Got the logo right here, nice paint job. Now the way this works, and it's set up here, it's like a ratcheting effect. It spins around. So if you wanted to go completely around something and cut it, you could easily do that. And then it's got your traditional adjuster right here. The outer jaws stay the same, and then the inside is what actually adjusts up and down. So that's kind of like a protective guard around the cutter itself, and you simply adjust it up and down just like you would any other cutter. And if you want to disengage it here, I would assume that we pull down on it and you can disengage it right there. So if you want to re-engage it, lock it into place, it will sit around that ring. You got this fork right here that's spring loaded. You can feel the spring inside of it there, so if it gets out of adjustment you can take it apart. It's also got 3 screws right there. It's got a little hole in the bottom of it, so if you want to hang it on your shop wall, put a little ring around it and clip it, you could. All you got to do is pull it down, and then you set the inside right around that ring, lock it back into place, and it locks it on the outside edge of the cutter itself. And it does have a little lip right there, so it keeps it locked in. So it's a basic design. It's got these grooves right here built into the housing on it. That way it ratchets it back and forth. And that's what these little clips right here will hold that tension, lets it run over top of them. That is also spring loaded as well. I'll be able to see where it sets up right here. Those little teeth will hold it into place, and it ensures that it slides over it. It's got a little cut groove right there, so it'll go down and up, hold it back into place when you put tension on it. And you shouldn't need a whole lot of different tension on these things, because what it's designed to do is cut pipes, of course. And it's got the rollers up top. I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty well made for what we've got right here, and it feels nice and heavy for the size. So this thing's pretty durable, and if you want to take it out by hand, it works the same way by hand. You get into an extremely tight space, all you got to do is put it on there, twirl it around, adjust it, everything else. So let's go ahead and try this out. This is going to be my test piece. Find the jaws. You do have to have it in this direction. So whenever you get it in place where you need it at, in between those 2 little rollers right here, you make sure to tighten it up, get some pretty good little tension on it, and then you twist it around. Now, as this thing goes around and it starts cutting into the pipe, you're going to tighten it a little bit more. But as you can see right here, it does ratchet really well. Tighten it a little bit more, and right there you go. It already got this thing cut nice and smooth. That is a really good cut on this. There's no jagged edges. I mean, it cut it pretty nice and round right there. So essentially, the way this thing functions, once you get used to using it, you can go pretty fast on this. You're working with, let's say, aluminum piping. You got a bunch of things. You're running gas lines on boilers, stuff like that. This can work for that. Makes your job a lot faster, a lot easier. You're working on copper lines all the time. I'm in and out of different businesses all the time, cutting copper lines, installing steam lines, things like that. This thing is going to come in handy for a whole slew of different repairs. You will see this tool in action on this channel doing those repairs. So subscribe to the channel, go over to Instagram, hit follow, check out the Facebook page, and you'll see pictures of these tools in action. But if you're someone who has this tool and you like using it, why don't you comment in the description box below, let us know your opinion on this tool. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is there a better name brand out here on the market that you would rather use than this one? Now the cutter itself, I mean, it's definitely interesting. It has its positives because it could come in handy in certain situations, especially if you're needing to cut something and you got to reach into it and adjust it and you're in a tight location. You know, don't get me wrong, it's really handy to have it in your hand, and it's really handy just to be able to pop it loose and use it by itself, because, I mean, that's the single hand application about it. Now, using it with the handle right here, I'm sure it'll have its purpose. I'm not going to know if I like it or not until after I use it for an extended period of time. But just tinkering around with it right here, I bounced it around back and forth, I've twisted it, turned it, used it. And it's not 100% solid. It would probably be better if the handle itself here was made out of aluminum, and the little spring-loaded clips right there would hold to the back a little bit better. It'd be really easy to take apart. You just got to unscrew it. The bottom half will come out if you need it to, and you can take it apart, work on it, fix it. So, I mean, it has its positives to it, but there's a lot of them you can do that way. It's not the smallest in the world. If I'm in a really tight location on a vehicle, I usually go with this Lyle right here. It's something nice, basic. I can use it, get the job done. It's really tiny. Then the next size up, you got your Kobalt right here. I mean, as opposed to that, if you look at the overall length, it's relatively the exact same thing, but it is round. So it would probably be better than using this one right here. But it's still not quite as small as what the little one is right here. We'll see how it works in the future. We'll have to do some good testing using real world repairs and see how we like it after a few months. But as far as general testing goes, like if I put it in my hand, I'm trying to ratchet it back and forth, and you're trying to go fast, those little spring-loaded clips on the inside right there are going to come loose. It's not going to hold tension as much as you would think it should. It slips really easy. So if you're going to get into certain situations, you got to basically take your time with it. Alright, we have a brake line busted. Rusty brake line right there. That is definitely the culprit. Really good look. All that rust, and we're going to go ahead and take this cutter here and cut this thing off where she sits at. Oh yeah, she broke through it now. Now we just got to turn it back around here and get her out. Get out of the way with not nearly as much hassle. So that is a benefit, because you got that arm. It'll help hold it up there in place, and you can twist it, turn it. It might not go fast in these tight spaces, but it will cut down on that. That's a 3/16 line too. That's a pretty small line. I could get the cutter on there and the handle to help turn it when I needed it and cut that right off. That actually helped pretty good. This gets it out of the way to where I can at least get something on here. This backside broke loose, get this horseshoe off here, take my flex line out. Now we'll break this sucker loose, make it a lot easier than taking that whole bracket off there. There we go, that's out. Now all I got to do is go up through there, cut the brake line out, line splice into that side, and then plug it right back up and make sure I got all my bends in place. Yeah, there you can see it. There's a good section of line right there that we're aiming at, and that's what we're going to try to reach. And as always, go buy yourself some tools and start making those repairs great again.